Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Today, I'm not free motion quilting though. I am piecing. I'm making a cute 4-patch block, and I want to share some tips and tricks for patchwork with you. So let's get started. So here's the 4-patch block I'll be piecing today. It's a very simple block created entirely from squares. So I have gone on ahead and cut myself 2 Island Batik cream squares, and these are 3.5 inches square, and 2 Island Batik Bermuda. These 2 beautiful colors. I really love them. And this is also cut 3.5 inches square. So what you do to make a 4-patch is you simply layer those squares right on top of one another. And this is important. You don't want to kind of get in too much of a rush whenever you're piecing. You really want to take your time aligning your pieces so that they're perfectly aligned, and then you start piecing. So I'm going to slip both pieces right underneath my foot, aligning the edges right with the edge of my foot. Now I am using a 1/4 inch patchwork foot, so I know that right from the edge of the foot over, it's going to give me a dead set 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that's exactly what I want. I stitch down, just maintaining and keeping that nice alignment with the edge of the foot. And I am stitching with a short stitch length. This is set at 1.6 millimeters. That's what my machine can easily make. And I set it that way so that way I produce a nice tight stitch, and it's very secure. So I know that those stitches are not going to come out. I'm also using 100% cotton thread. This is Aurifil 50 weight Mako cotton in white. And I know that those stitches are going to be real difficult to pick out. That means that they're going to be real difficult to wear out when they go in my quilt. So as I finish up the seam, just to kind of stay on track and be ready for the next pieces, I stitch through, I call this a scrap charger. It's just a little scrap of fabric that's folded in half, and I just buzz that through the machine. It keeps those thread tails nice and tidy, and it keeps the foot at that nice height for piecing. Okay, clip those off, and then I finger press the pieces open. So I'm going to finger press this seam allowance open, and I do this just running my thumb over that seam gently. I don't want to get really aggressive with this. You can, fabric is really pliable, and you can get easily stretch things out of shape if you're not careful. So I'm real gentle, but I press that seam open on both pieces, and then I'll hit it real quick with my iron just to make sure that seam's nice and open and flat. Now I know that not all quilters teach this way. Some people like to press both seam allowances to one side. I like to press them open because my focus is machine quilting, and it's very challenging to quilt over a real bulky seam allowance. So these are both pressed open and ready to press with the iron. So now is the fun part. Now is when you really get to start seeing your patchwork come to life, and that is when you start matching seams. And when I do this, because my seam allowances are pressed open, I have to be kind of careful. I just press them together with my thumb and forefinger, holding them tight together, and then I pull down just to make sure that that's in nice alignment. Then I realign the edges, and I do pin those pieces together right there above that seam, exactly like that. And now I'm going to stitch through, starting on this top edge. I slip those pieces right underneath the foot and stitch on down. And when it comes to aligning these pieces with the edge of your foot, that just takes practice. I can stitch pretty fast at this now. I have been quilting for many years. But when you're first getting started, you might want to keep a steadier, slower pace with this, so that way you're sure that it's going to match up and stay in good alignment. So I stitch right up to my pin, literally one stitch away, and then I take it out, and then I stitch on down over those seam allowances, and then keep working on down. And here's the important thing, you know, you're focusing really well on starting your seam, you're focusing really well on stitching over those seam allowances right in the middle, but a lot of times you lose focus down here at the bottom, so just make sure that you're still maintaining that good seam allowance all the way through. And then buzz through a scrap to finish. So it's the moment of truth. Let's check out our seam. You can see it's beautifully matched up right there in the center. And now what I'm going to do is just simply press open these seam allowances on the back. Again, I want to finger press first. If I take this straight to my iron and try and get the tip of my iron in there and use that to open the seam, it's a real good chance that I'm going to, kind of be too aggressive with the tip of the iron and distort my fabric, and I probably won't actually get those seams nice and open the way I can when I feel the fabric under my hands, under my fingertips. So this looks good. I give that center seam a good press with my fingers so that way it's nice and flat. And then I can give it a good press with my iron. And this block, this cute little 4-patch, is complete. And here's some creative things you can do with a 4-patch block. I really hope that you've enjoyed learning this patchwork block with me today. Definitely subscribe to our videos so you don't miss out on any of the cool quilting inspiration coming out weekly. Also, check out my book, Stitch It Up a Notch, How to Piece Perfect Quilts, if you're interested in learning more about precision piecing. Until next time, let's go quilt.